In Sumner County, trying to track down straight out of Cashville rapper Young Buck.
Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You know what it is, man. So let's get into it. Now, Young Buck has found himself in the news again. Yes, again, man. Now, Young Buck has been having an interesting time in the media, man. Ever since his breakup with G-Unit, things have been pretty crazy, man. Buck has been locked up several times. There's been a lot of allegations at him. There's been people who have open campaigns against him on YouTube that talk mess about Young Buck all day. There are a lot of disrespectful names that they call Young Buck, and a lot of things people are saying about Young Buck in them streets. Now, none of those people are involved in this story today. Now, today, Young Buck's girlfriend looks like she found herself in a little bit of trouble. Now, it looks like the law are also looking for Young Buck in this situation. Now, before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And, man, let's get it. Now, Young Buck, like I said earlier, has just been having a crazy time, man, out here since he's been released from jail. I mean, you would think he would get back into action because his name is out here in these streets and he's blazing. But his name has been out here in these streets for a lot of the wrong reasons. And I'm talking about some crazy stuff. Like, there's been accusations that, he's been caught in precarious situations with different types of people from different lifestyles. I'm trying to be politically correct here, y'all, man. Save me, man. I want to get monetized. But to be honest, there's so many rumors, it's not hard to find. Now, despite all that, Young Buck, whose real name is David Darnell Brown, has a girlfriend by the name of Lucretia Neal. Now, Young Buck and Lucretia Neal have been seen on his live, even in one of his latest music videos, booed up, hugged up, boo-boo loving in the whole nine. And man, it seemed like a good relationship. But for some reason, man, Young Buck's girlfriend has been charged and arrested with shooting at him. Now, I'm going to play the whole news clip so you guys can get that point, and then I'm going to give you some commentary on it and why this is a crazy situation for Young Buck.
Law enforcement in Sumner County trying to track down straight out of Cashville rapper Young Buck. That's after they say Buck's girlfriend, Lucretia Neal, seen here, fired a gun at him yesterday. This was in the Tower Hill subdivision of Hendersonville. Neal was charged with reckless endangerment with a weapon. Deputies in Sumner County are not sure if Young Buck was hit by any bullets. They are working to track him down to make sure he was not injured.
Now, there you go. So in that news report, they basically said that his girlfriend shot at him and that he's now on the run, I guess. I don't know why he would be on the run, but here's a little bit to it. Now, Young Buck himself has been arrested recently. He's been arrested and taken to jail a couple of times, and his lawyer has been steady at work to keep him on the streets because if he stays on the streets, he can make money, Now, back in 2016, Young Buck, he got arrested for going over to his ex-girlfriend's apartment in Nashville and allegedly kicking the door down and threatening to burn down the house. With all his situations combined, Young Buck, he got away, not got away, but he walked away with probation and supervised release. So he ended up violating that somehow and got arrested back in 2019, like December timeframe. And since then, he's been trying to play under the radar, man. He's had a couple of little skirmishes, but from my understanding, he's still under some type of supervised release. So maybe that's the reason why he does not want to come forward if he was shot or anything like that. I'm not sure how that violates your probation if you're the victim of a shooting, especially if you're around somebody who's not like an active criminal or any type of known prior felon or something like that. But this raises a lot of questions, man. In what situation and why in the world was his girlfriend busting shots at him? I mean, Young Buck is a wild dude still, man. He seems like he keeps that wild dude energy around him. He stays up on a lot of stuff, man, as far as like trying to put out music. He stays trying to stay relevant, man. But he's built a heck of an empire of enemies, man. There is a lot of cats, including his ex-boss, man. Him and 50 Cent have been back and forth in the media several times going at it with each other, man. 50 Cent dissing Young Buck for his alleged lifestyle choice, and Young Buck going back at 50 Cent for allegedly giving him a bad deal and putting him in a bad situation financially. Now, Young Buck, he's had a tough time on the finances as well. He's had some situations where he had to do jail time on federal charges for taxes and whatnot. And dude really, really couldn't get it together for a minute there, man. It seemed like all the time for a second there was a Young Buck story floating around. But to have the police actively looking for you, something got to be crazy, man. I'm only assuming this. I don't know for sure, but it seems a little odd because if somebody shot at me, if I was shot or not, I'm going to the hospital, feel me? Or I'm going somewhere. Or now I can see where he would feel like, man, I don't want to turn in my girl and go and tell on her and go to the police station. I mean, he ain't got to do all that because that is a little awkward. It's a little weird. I don't know, double standard or whatever you want to call it. But dude, literally running away from the laws, man, it just don't look good, man. It doesn't look good. And Young Buck is in so many controversies lately. It's just piles onto another one. But what's really funny is that he had taken a turn to where he was kind of just laying low and doing like comedy type stuff on his Instagram. You could see him where he's, dressed as a cowboy and stuff like that. And he's just going a whole nother direction. And honestly, I think that's positive, especially for an older artist. If you could try to captivate a new audience or do something that's more humorous and light as you get older, I think that'll help, in the long run and continue your longevity. Because how much longer you going to play a tough guy? Once you start getting older, you ain't going to be knocking people out like you used to. It's just not, it's not physically possible. The older you get, even look at cats like Suge Knight. When Suge Knight started getting old, once you start getting 45, 50, a whole fight will take a toll on your life. You might be taking time off your life, and then past 50 and into your 60s, you're talking about nearing a senior citizen. So the smart transition is to, man, go into something lighter and be kind of cool, that cool older dude, that chill older dude. But that don't mean you got to be a punk, but you know what I'm saying? Something that's more family friendly, and people will understand that transition. Isn't that what growth is about anyway? But it seems like Buck is rejecting all that because he stays in these stories where somebody getting shot at or something crazy's happening or some type of fight or he's being arrested and he need to sit down, man. I hate to go there, but it's facts. The funniest video he had recently is when he dunked the basketball on those kids. That was pretty cool, man. But if he ain't doing stuff like that and being a positive influence as you get older, man, what is you really doing? Now with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification as I continue to drop the hottest content on YouTube. And we out of here. Peace.